Hello and welcome to week 4 of building the Holistic Hub live demo excitement. Okay, so where are we? Um, let's just open the Holistic Hub and see where we're at. So we've updated a bit of where you're going to land when you get to the Holistic Hub. So we're still fine-tuning all the words and things, but basically you're going to land here and you're going to have the option of viewing the directory or joining the directory at the beginning.
Sorry, can I ask like very, very, very fundamental questions?
Yes, we want all the questions. That's why you're here.
So this hub is kind of a website or it's actually inbuilt in Mighty Network?
Yeah, good question. Good question.
This is its own website application that we are building from the ground up.
Okay.
I'll do a quick high level strategic update. So,
Okay.
um, we have used Mighty as long as we possibly can. We are still going to continue to use it for some of its functionality, but based on, how we've been receiving feedback and our own frustrations, it has become clear that it is time for us to build our own interface for the Holistic Health Hub, right? Because one of the number one things has been, well, how do people find things in? It's very hard to search, and the navigation of the experience has been challenging. And so now we are building our own interface where we will actually create the directory and additional components, lots of additional components actually, like our own thing. And then we will continue to use Mighty for courses, workshops, programming, etc. for the time being. And that'll be a smooth like integration process between the two. But at some point we'll probably transition out of that, but that's kind of further down the road. Right now, we're building the stuff that we can't make happen anywhere else that's really proprietary to us. So that is what Evelyn is showing you is the V0 that is going to launch in the next couple of weeks. That will be the new way that people come into the hub and experience and search and find things.
Okay, so this hub, like this interface, uh, different from Mighty Network, there was no login needed at the beginning. Okay.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
and you'll be launched in 3 weeks, as you
Maybe
mentioned.
sooner.
So
Maybe.
nobody is seeing it right now, like other than us.
Correct. Correct. This is
Okay.
the behind the scenes. You get to see what we're building. We do want everybody and anybody can watch this video, right? But to see what we're building in real time and then
Okay.
ask great questions,
Yeah.
share feedback, whatever that is.
Yeah.
It's an iterative process. So we're launching the first version so that we can kind of overcome the searchability issue. And then we'll keep layering on components and making each of those pieces more sophisticated too.
Okay.
Yeah. And if
Okay, this
there's
is
anything I
clear.
missed, that one.
Continue.
So this will launch from its own website. I think right now it's going to be holistichealthhub.app. I was like, I'm afraid to say it because the everything said here is subject to change in the future.
Yeah.
Is as anybody would see if you've seen the previous demos already.
Yeah.
So basically what you'll do is you'll end up on the beginning of the hub. This is where we see ourselves moving for this page to be in the future, with the directory, joining the directory, jumping into the daily dose experience, or seeing what's new, which will basically be a feed of content that's not only the human array, but also coming from the practitioners, very much like the feed in Mighty Networks is right now. What we're attempting to do with pulling in your content, pulling in your events, showing all those things without having a login. That's what'll be under what's new and under the feed.
Okay.
And the daily dose and the feed build will be the next step once we get the directory live.
So the directory is a list of practitioners or list of programs?
Let me show you. It is a list of practitioners. So what you have in
Okay.
here is a list of cards full of practitioners, but also physical locations, products. It is a full-on directory. And there are three
Okay.
types of cards in the directory. There are referrals, which are just the name of the business with the link. There are anyone who joins the directory for free, and then you're listed, you have a description, you're able to add your tags, and then you can add more social links. And then there are the individuals who are a member of the human array and they have a full profile. So if you look at Joe, so this is I'm going to put a big caveat here right now. There's a lot of things in Joe's quote unquote, I feel like I should change the name profile, which they may or may not do. We are using this as our example page to build things, and we are literally spinning up fake offers and events throughout this page. So do not be confused. We apologize to Joe and thank you for being our guinea pig in the demo.
Yes.
So that is the caveat there. So this
Okay.
is going to be your profile page. And I think somewhere along the way, Carrie has discussed what would it look like if we could replace your website? And your
Yeah.
profile is already the first step in that process. And so this is where we are right now in the profile design. It's actually had quite an evolution jump into sort of what is seen in here, and will actually answer some of your Mighty Networks questions compared to what we've seen in previous weeks. So we've got the top. We now have some quick menu jumps in here.
I'm sorry I left. This is so full flash of a website, everything.
Yeah.
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 So we've got your tagline, we've got your description, we've got your story, and then we've got two featured offers, products, services, whatever it is that you can then, and right now, once you click these get started or buy or explore, this will take you outside of the Holistic Health Hub app and take you to your website, your booking page. If your course is hosted in Mighty Networks, it will take you to the Mighty Network course. Like, this is where that connection between Mighty Network and the Holistic Health Hub is hiding right now.
Yeah.
And as we evolve and we start bringing more and more content and more courses and programs in-house, these connections, these pages will stay exactly the same, but instead of linking you externally, you'll just stay within the Holistic Health Hub.
What do you mean by linking me externally?
So right now, if I were to click this, this would go to a page in Mighty Networks that says, here's this course, click this button to buy. It would take you to Mighty Networks. It would take you to a different website rather than staying on holistichealthhub.app.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
question.
Questions.
So is this hub, and because now we have our own app. So the hub, the app is going to become the hub. So is it like that?
So this is the piece that's kind of under construction at the moment. The vision that we hold right now, while we still have everything on Mighty Networks, is that how we're going to construct I'm going to use the user's experience, like the consumer's experience of Mighty Network, the app would be their like course library. So the things that are in there now that are shared experiences, there will be no shared experiences in the Mighty Network, or well, there might be for a period of time until we transition the feed and daily dose, et cetera, over. But you could think of it as what we're going to do is take all of those courses that we've organized under self-guided group, yada, yada, yada. We don't need those qualifications anymore because you find that information in the hub. And now instead it would all be grouped under my programs, right?
Yeah.
So everybody would join in a way that they then only see the things that they've opted into.
So it's
right?
like for example, I have several communities that they all build in Mighty Network. So with a Mighty Network app, I can actually see different various non-connected communities.
Yes.
So basically the app will become, when people are really inside, they have a
Yes.
program, they have a community, they are really inside at least the sphere of one practitioner.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Or multiple, right? Like if somebody's has a workshop from Amy and your group course, right? Those would both show up in their programs, but
Yeah.
you're right. They'll start to use the app as like, here's where I go into my programs, not where I'm searching for new things.
Okay.
So that'll be the transition while we still have the Mighty experience. But that's all kind of, we'll play with it as we evolve to see, like, does that continue? When does that make sense until that's kind of really up for grabs at the moment. But that's how we envision
Okay.
the bridge, at least to getting to the new space. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Great question.
Continue, please.
So from there, from having your sort of featured products, then we have sort of your timely box. And we're still really playing with this section. We feel like this section is a lot. This is actively being constructed and deconstructed as we speak. But we're thinking like, okay, where does events go? Where does, if you have a coupon that you have for a time, go? Where does come see me speak, click the button? So like, where do those things fit on this page? And then where do your other products that are not your featured ones right now fit? If you have 10 courses, where are they on this page? So as you can see, it still are things you still pay for.
Yeah, I noticed it's a very, very cute name. It's a very, very cute name.
As you can see, our word wizard has not been to the page yet to help us figure it out.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
So there's few resources.
And these are 100% things we just spun up for what would a farm person have.
Yeah.
And then free resources, you can see AI, we weren't guiding it there, and it just made a wellness guide and a library. So here's kind of the logic that we're thinking. Like, I've seen your story. I got an introduction to you. I see what you can offer me, but now I want to know more about you. Like, I'm not really, like, I'm at free resources. Do I want to know more? So then we have another section. And this is where it's like, okay, here's my philosophy. And this is actually these three philosophy pillars are something actually we as the Human Array are helping to help curate for you. So as we look at your content and your pieces, we're like, hey, here are some pillars that we see that are sort of what you stand for. And if people are like, okay, I'm digging this person and I don't know where to start, this is where your book, your intro call goes. We have also added certifications and things also below this line.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're called this testimonials. I think it's going to go back to reviews. So you can put some reviews and testimonials in here. In the mock-up, it says other people can leave reviews. That is not going to be live on the first thing. We don't have that kind of authorization set up. But eventually this will be a space where people can easily come in and leave you reviews and testimonials directly on here. And then at the bottom, we go down into this sort of recommendation space. And this is sort of something that we're looking at as a practitioner, as someone in the directory with a profile. Who do you recommend? Who would you suggest from your network?
Okay.
And that goes in here. And then underneath here is who said that you're awesome? Who has referred you out? Because if I speak from my experience, and this is so I do energy tracking and mapping as a side thing. So if I have my energy and life coaching business in here, and then I say, okay, you've worked with me, but maybe you need a good therapist, or I think a Whoop ring would be great. I've used it, I've tested it. These are the kind of things that would be under my recommendations. When you make a recommendation for somebody who's already in the hub, then that person just gets linked. If you make a recommendation for something that's not in the hub, it becomes just that recommendation card where it's just the name of the business and the website, and it gets tied back to you. There's still many elements to figure out in this space as well, but this is kind of the rough idea with this.
I really like the recommendation part because it actually, in a way, you are, well, that's how I imagine it. Tell me if I'm wrong. You are holding yourself responsible to make sure the practitioners knows each other. In a way. Otherwise, how can I recommend? I mean, like, we believe everyone is good people, everyone is good person. But then when I need to see the needs of my clients or the need of prospect or a friend even, how could I know this person is really for them? Then that means that I have to get to know that person in the group more than their names and descriptions.
Yeah, absolutely. And it helps us grow, right? So that
Yeah.
you can recommend other practitioners and they can get exposure to what's available here. And I think of it as like I've always thought of the human array as the goal, part of the goal is to be like a hyped up referral engine, right? That you're referring amongst each other, getting to know each other, right? Because as coaches, we often know other coaches. And so, oh, okay, I don't do relationship coaching, but Amanda does. I think, you're touching on something there. I would recommend refer you to her. Or, you even probably have, like Evelyn was mentioning, products or other or books or podcasts that you might recommend to your clients, right? Like, okay, we're at this stage, like I really recommend you listen to this podcast episode or this guided meditation or whatever that happens to be. And so it helps build up your ability to easily share, like, oh, it's linked on my profile, right? I've heard from many practitioners that, like, I am often a walking encyclopedia for my clients
Yeah.
because they're like, okay, great. We touched on this thing. Now, how do I do all of that? Right. And it's like, somebody was talking about how she supports like kids with neuroplasticity. And she's like, then everybody's like, okay, now what reading program do I use? Who are the best people to help with handwriting and spelling? And so she just is constantly regurgitating the same recommendations over and over. So this also gives you the ability to say, okay, it's listed here. Like, here's the name or here's the link. Like, it's right in my profile so that people can be connected to your ecosystem of all the things that you love, would recommend to your clients as well.
And then
Yeah.
this creates this cool organic feature where it's like, oh, somebody put this app about handwriting. I didn't even know that was a thing. Who
Yeah,
suggested it? What
exactly.
did they come from? Has someone else also recommended this thing? And then are these two people related? Maybe they never met, but they both totally believe in this book or in
Yeah.
this thing. And like it just, yeah, then it starts to create this curiosity web as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And from like a search and finding you perspective, right? Maybe they stumble on a book and then see that you recommend that book as well. And so it just creates that additional layer of visibility for you too.
So the recommendation session can actually get really big under a person's profile.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is exactly one
Man.
of the puzzles we're looking at because
Yeah.
I started like feeding real data into this and it looked really pretty when there's two of these and three of these. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let's say we're working with a business who has like 50 different oils. There's a lot on this page now to scroll through. How are we handling that? So
Yeah.
these kind of like real world situations, as I'm starting to feed the data in and preparing for launch, is exactly the like, oh, and I love your your feedback of like, okay, I love the recommendations and I'm going to put a lot in. Okay, good. Let's figure out how to support that. And this is the feedback we want in these sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because like I imagine if everything that I create into my page is going to increase the possibility of being searched,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I will for sure want to create that part because I don't know, at least at this stage, I don't know exactly what people search about me that really pop up,
Yeah.
right? Or how people search. Probably they want to find someone that resonates with a book,
Yeah.
or they really like a practitioner and then see that, oh, this practitioner was recommending this one. And so let me see. So yeah, I think that it's that's how when you describe it, that's how I imagine it.
Yeah. Do you have the claim your spot page available, Evelyn?
Do you? Maybe.
So this
Okay.
is Riva's. Joe put this in. It doesn't exist in the hub yet, right? So he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I always use Riva's botanicals. I recommend it to people all the time. So he just puts in the website link and the name of the company, and then it creates this card. And so even if that company doesn't ever come in and claim their spot in the hub, if people are finding Riva's botanicals, it'll say referred by Joe it'll say referred by Joe, Shangmin, Katie,
But
right?
now
And
I'm loving it. Okay,
yes,
now I'm loving it because now I finally see a way to merge my two projects together.
yes. Yay.
So,
Well, so if speaking of two projects, you could literally host both your projects as like separate elements here. You could even create a card for those products. And then from your single login, you can manage both your coaching business and your product cards at the same time and see what's going on in this one and see what's going on in this one. Update this profile, update that profile. You can even go in as your own seeker wellness journey all under the same login. So you don't have to like be piecing yourself out from 4 different emails just to get into the hub. You can just be you and have multiple facets supported.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. This is like a magical place. Actually, there are a lot of people building group and community of coaches.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's and for me it's if it's all coaches, actually we are used to be isolated, you know. We
Yeah.
won't really share what's the problem of my business
Yeah.
because there was always a competitive vibe. And then actually we don't have time to understand everyone's business
Yeah.
because I'm so busy looking for my own clients. I have no time to find you clients.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think what we envision this ecosystem enabling for you is for that to be less work. One, to find the clients, right? Because we're enabling all these various different ways for them to find you, and there's more and more to come on the roadmap. But the other part is, oh, I actually am a seeker too. So I get to go in and peruse and look for my own benefit, but also to collaborate and connect with the other practitioners that are in this space. And then it actually, I love what you're saying because it almost takes the weight off of getting to know them, and you can almost jump into a deeper level of conversation. Like, hey, I see you do this. I'd love to create this with you. Would you be open to that idea? Because now you're all operating in the same system and you don't have to find each other's websites and Instagrams and like
Yeah.
piece all the pieces together. It all lives in one place so you can get to know each other's businesses faster.
Yeah.
I just came off of 3 days of being able to do this with other founders. And like that's the energy that I'm bringing back from this conference. That's like, that's the, I'm going to call it a high vibe business building that
Yeah.
we want to step into. This isn't scarcity. This isn't competition. This is like, we're all freaking amazing. There is a place for all of us, and we can be more amazing if we come together and support each
Yeah.
other, refer, connect, like all that. So that's the, I mean, Evelyn and I were just talking about that's the mycelium network that we're building here so that it's just this very dynamic. I keep using that word and everybody's like, what does that mean to you? And I'm like, well, it's starting to come alive now. And so I'm like, yes, this is what it means to me is this really interactive, dynamic experience that's really high vibe, abundance based rather than like, oh, you're a person, you might want me to coach you. So I'm going to jump on this call because maybe I'll get a client out of this. And it's like, can we raise it up just a little bit and business energy? And I know you lived this world, right? And we burned out from it, but we're reclaiming it and healing from it to say like, wait, there's some really good stuff there, which is like, hey, I kick ass and you kick ass. We should do something together rather than like, oh my God, I got to get clients. Like I'm going to get on this call because this person
I am
might be
still like outside of talking to you, I'm still in that mode. I was just talking to my agency, and 2 days ago, I literally have someone in front of me telling me if you don't do social media, you are going to fail.
ugh, let's build a really cool, big paradigm shifting business. Like, and let's do it together. Like, this is what we're doing. Yes, 100%. I love it.
And as I said, this is V0. Like this is like nothing.
Not even one. See?
Not even one. Nope,
Not even
nope.
one. Like until there's a feed, like it doesn't count as one because not only also because eventually it'll get to the point where not only does the feed just have the daily dose and the human array stuff, but also your stuff. And your stuff will also be showing up at the bottom of your profile. So that only adds to more layers of your profile where it's like, see my things, here's my philosophy, book a call, see my recommendations, also read my stuff.
Yeah.
I know a lot of practitioners, they are doing a lot of contents also outside of like everyone else, you know,
Yes.
on social media and so on. And so how do you get those contents under our profile other than the social link?
So the objective is that the hub becomes your knowledge base. It becomes the space that holds all of your offers and your content. You can write your content directly in to the Holistic Health Hub. And I'm really looking at not just blog posts, but shorts, posts, videos, audio. Like, how can we support how you create images, how you create content? Hold that, and then allow you to take the next step to be like, now send this out into the social media abyss. And then as we start building the search functionality within the tool, where right now we're looking at not just using search and filters, but like we were playing with a body map idea where you click like, hey, I need help with my neck. It'll serve up anything from the ecosystem within the hub up. So if you wrote a post 2 years ago that talked about some work that
Right.
you were doing that somehow had something to do with healing of neck pain. And we will use that also when working with our well-being concierge service and we're introducing people to you and the next step. We can just keep layering the brilliance of all of the practitioners in order to heal holistically. Because what we know is that we can't do this alone. We need all of your knowledge. We need everybody's insights. And our job is to make sure that it all can be connected, found, and show up at just the right moment for you.
I think about is I would love for all of us to not have to fight that algorithm anymore and to like create our own safe space, right, for all of this content to live. And I think that's what we are building. And at the same time, we still need to bring people into it. You're still going to need to bring, like, it's still going to play a role, social media or different platforms, right? But it may be able to play a different role for us or
Yeah.
not as intense of a role, or we can start to work ourselves out of it in a way that then actually maybe it does feel fun to go on social media. I know that sounds crazy, but you saw my energy shift, right? In my own content of like, well, this is kind of fun. And maybe that does live in the hub at some point, but how do we then cut the cord and ultimately release the dependency on the social media or the like um,
I
drag?
think
And what I feel the goal of what we want to bring together is to diffuse that weight, right? That it's not reliant on every post that I'm generating needs to get me a client, but instead now you've got a whole ecosystem working on your behalf in lots of different areas, and it doesn't feel heavy because you have one place to manage it rather
yeah.
than okay, here and here and here and here and here. Like even myself, I kept forgetting. I was like, oh, I recorded the video live on Instagram. I need to download the video to upload it to LinkedIn and then take that content in the caption and then change it to make it this one over here.
I know.
And that is stupid.
No, like even now, I got really annoyed by that because it actually did really demotivate me. I didn't use social media before like I create the business.
Yeah,
So for me, social media has like such purpose that's so singular
yeah,
that
yeah.
I don't really enjoy.
And I think what I hope that this enables is for social media to feel creative again,
Yeah, yeah,
fun, right? Because that's when your most authentic self comes out. That's
yeah,
when you actually attract clients, right?
yeah,
Because you're being you, you're just doing the thing. Like you sent me an email because I, no filtered, have just started doing things, just whatever, right?
yeah.
That's that's in my mind, that's validation of what we want to build so that you can use those channels in the way that they're actually meant to. And it doesn't feel the weight, the heaviness of, I have to post on Instagram today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Evelyn has something that maybe the robot's finished.
The robot.
The robot.
It's done. So,
hold on. Let's do the thing.
so breaking news. The Holistic Health Hub live during demo. So what I showed you is what is built in Lovable, which is an AI building tool for building and spinning up websites and experiences really quickly. The thing with that is there's some security errors, and usually there's a lot of like old gunky code. So what we want to do is we want to take that experience and build our own code set and have it tied to our own database, which is a whole other adventure. But so what I'm doing as a first step is I'm just rebuilding the profile pages that I showed you today and that we walked through. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be loading it with your specific data. So the 23 profiles that will be there at launch as full profiles, I'm collecting their data and loading it into these single mock pages where you can go in and you can review. So I'm going to show you the very basic version right now that's blank, and then I will show you the pretty.
That's right.
So,
Okay.
so I know it looks like nothing. It's way more exciting than it looks like nothing. So there'll be 3 sections that you will receive. The first section will have the full profile preview, the thing that I just showed you at the beginning of this that had your story, your overview, and everything. Then in the sort of purple box, there will just be your directory card, so you'll know what your directory card looks like. And then at the bottom, there will be a section where you can edit all of that material. So if your tagline's not right, if your featured offers is something that you want to change, if your story or description is not the way you want, you can change that in here and save it and then approve your profile before we go live. So
Okay.
Amanda will be reaching out to each of you individually with your own unique like URL
Link.
code to go in and play with this.
Okay.
And the thing I've been waiting for the magic robots to do all day is build the actual page of somebody. And it worked. So this may not seem as exciting to you as it does to me, but so we had the vision that we built. Now we're translating in that into something that is really our own code and our own first steps. And literally, this is hot off the presses. I told the robots, it said, I need 10 more minutes. I was like, you have 6. Build now. And it did. So you will see something like this. Hopefully, it will look, as you can see, it is not nearly as pretty as it is on the other page. But this is exactly the process that we're doing, where we are learning how to utilize AI in a human way. We are not just saying, hey, build this and we trust you. We are the captains, we are the guardians. Like, we are the ones who understand what's going on. We know what you're building, but we're using AI to spin up these sort of pages quickly in a way that would take a whole team of developers and much longer. So that's sort of the next step. We showed you the profile page in its beautiful form in Lovable, where we're doing really all of the beautiful design work and we're doing the word copy. We're going to send you your version of that with your words in it for you to approve and adjust in the next week before we go live. And you will get something like I just showed you, only hopefully by the time that happens, it will look way closer to the version in Lovable than it does today. But
Yeah.
It's there.
It's there. It's there. We're building. It's moving. It's very exciting.